What if I told you the strongest spark between two people isn't touch? It's something that happens in the mind first. And once it lights up, everything else feels powerless to compete. Most people think attraction lives in the body, but real desire is born in the story someone tells themselves about you. The one thing that activates that story more than anything else is this. Asterisk, asterisk, feeling deeply understood, dot asterisk, asterisk, not noticed, not admired, understood. When someone feels seen without having to explain themselves, their nervous system relaxes. Their guard drops. Their imagination wakes up. And that's when connection stops being casual and starts becoming personal. Here's the part no one tells you. Human brains are prediction machines. We are constantly scanning for safety, meaning, and emotional reward. When someone listens with intention, when they remember what matters to you, reflect your emotions, and respond instead of react, it creates a chemical cocktail of comfort and excitement. Comfort says, I can be myself here. Excitement says, I want more of this. That combination is rare, and the brain treats rare things as valuable. Think about the last time someone truly got you. Not just your words, but the emotion underneath them. You probably felt lighter, more open, more alive. That's not coincidence. That's your brain linking connection to pleasure. It's building an association that says, this person makes me feel safe and interesting at the same time. And safety plus interest is the foundation of long-term attraction. Most people chase attention. They try to impress. They perform. But performance triggers comparison. Understanding triggers attachment. Attention says, look at me. Understanding says, I see you. One creates noise. The other creates depth. Depth is where imagination grows. Depth is where someone starts thinking about you when you're not there. Not because of what you did, but because of how you made them feel about themselves. This is why shallow charm fades quickly. It hits fast and disappears. But emotional insight leaves an imprint. When you ask questions that show curiosity, not control. When you validate feelings without trying to fix them. When you respond with empathy instead of ego, you become mentally associated with relief and possibility. The brain remembers that. It replays it. It wants it again. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't feel understood by anyone. They feel tolerated, managed, judged. So when someone finally meets them with patience and emotional intelligence, it stands out like a light in a dark room. That light becomes attractive because it feels rare, and rarity increases desire. This is not about tricks or lines, it's about presence, about slowing down enough to notice patterns, values, and fears. When someone feels emotionally recognized, they don't just feel connected, they feel chosen. And being chosen activates a powerful internal response. I matter here. That belief is stronger than any surface-level excitement. If you want to build attraction that lasts longer than a moment, stop trying to create sparks. Create understanding. Sparks burn out. Understanding builds heat over time. And once that heat is there, everything else becomes secondary. There's a reason emotional connection feels addictive. The brain releases the same bonding chemicals when someone feels emotionally understood as it does during physical closeness. But here's the twist. Emotional closeness lasts longer in memory. The mind can replay a moment of understanding over and over. Touch fades, meaning stays. And meaning is what keeps someone mentally attached when you're not in the room. Most people talk to be heard. Very few listen to understand. And that difference is everything. When you listen without waiting for your turn to speak, you send a powerful signal. Your inner world matters to me. That single message lowers emotional defenses. It tells the brain, I can relax here. And when defenses drop, curiosity rises. Curiosity is the doorway to attraction. But understanding is not agreeing with everything someone says. It's recognizing what they feel and why they feel it. It's responding to emotion, not just words. When someone says, I'm tired, and you hear, I feel unappreciated, you're already operating on a deeper level than most people ever reach. Depth creates trust. Trust creates emotional safety. Emotional safety creates desire that isn't rushed but rooted. Here's why this works so powerfully. The brain links people with emotional states. If every interaction with you makes someone feel calm, valued, and mentally stimulated, their brain starts labeling you as a source of positive emotion. Over time, just thinking about you triggers that same feeling. You don't have to be there. The association does the work for you. And notice something important. This kind of connection can't be faked for long. Performance gets exhausting. Presence doesn't. When you genuinely care about understanding someone's perspective, it changes how you speak, how you pause, how you react. You stop trying to win conversations. You start building meaning inside them. That shift alone makes you stand out in a world full of surface-level noise. People don't crave perfection. They crave resonance. They want to feel like their thoughts make sense to someone else. When you mirror someone's emotional reality without judgment, you create resonance. And resonance creates a subtle but powerful internal response. This person feels familiar. Familiarity is the seed of attachment. There's also something else happening quietly beneath the surface. When someone feels understood, they feel emotionally naked without feeling unsafe. That combination is rare. It allows them to be authentic without fear of rejection. And authenticity creates intimacy long before any physical moment ever happens. Intimacy is not closeness of bodies, it's closeness of internal worlds. This is why arguments handled with empathy can strengthen attraction instead of destroying it. When you don't attack, when you don't dismiss, when you don't minimize, but instead try to understand what hurt and why, you prove emotional maturity. Maturity is deeply attractive because it signals stability, and stability makes the future feel possible. So many people confuse excitement with connection. Excitement is loud, connection is quiet but persistent. One fades when the moment ends, the other grows when time passes. If you want to become unforgettable, become emotionally fluent. Learn how to recognize fear behind anger, desire behind distance, hope behind hesitation. When you do that, you're not just talking to someone, you're speaking to the part of them that rarely gets heard. And when someone feels heard, they don't just feel close to you, they feel drawn to you. Here is where most people sabotage this without realizing it. They confuse understanding with fixing. They hear pain and rush to solve it. But what creates attraction is not being a hero, it's being a witness. When someone shares something vulnerable and you don't interrupt, don't minimize, don't compete with their story, you give them something rare, space to exist as they are, and that space feels like freedom. The mind remembers how it felt to be free with someone, not controlled, not corrected, not measured, just accepted. That acceptance sends a powerful message beneath the surface. You don't have to perform here. And when performance drops, authenticity rises. Authenticity is magnetic because it feels real. And real is what people are starving for in a world full of filters and masks. Understanding also means consistency, not intensity. Consistency. Intensity can be exciting for a moment, but consistency builds emotional gravity. When your reactions are stable, when your words match your actions, when your presence doesn't disappear and reappear randomly, the brain relaxes. It stops scanning for danger and starts opening for connection. Safety is not boring. Safety is what allows desire to deepen instead of staying shallow. Think about it this way. Attraction isn't just about being wanted. It's about feeling chosen again and again. When someone sees that you remember their fears, their dreams, their values, they don't just feel noticed, they feel prioritized. And priority creates emotional weight. Emotional weight makes someone matter. And when you matter to someone, your influence grows without force. This is why emotional intelligence quietly outperforms charm. Charm can get attention. Emotional intelligence keeps it. It allows you to respond instead of react, to pause instead of explode, to ask instead of assume. These small behaviors send a huge signal, I'm safe to connect with, and safety doesn't kill attraction. It gives it room to breathe. There's also a powerful identity shift that happens here. When someone feels deeply understood, they begin to associate you with their better self. The version of them that feels calm, confident, and emotionally clear shows up around you. And the brain starts saying, I like who I am when I'm with this person. That belief is one of the strongest drivers of attachment. People don't just fall for others. They fall for how they feel about themselves around them. This is why emotional connection can outlast physical distance, The body needs proximity. The mind only needs meaning. If you become a source of meaning, reassurance, and emotional clarity, you don't have to chase, you become a reference point. Someone compares other experiences to how they feel with you, and when nothing matches that emotional quality, you remain mentally present even when physically absent. So if you want to create attraction that doesn't depend on constant excitement, stop trying to be impressive. Start being reliable in your emotional presence. Be the person who doesn't panic when feelings show up. Be the person who doesn't mock vulnerability. Be the person who listens for what's underneath the words. That's not just maturity, that's power. Because when someone feels understood, they don't just feel close, they feel safe enough to desire without fear. Now listen carefully, because this is where everything comes together. Understanding is not something you do once, it's something you practice daily. It's how you respond when someone is tired, how you react when they're emotional, how you stay present when it would be easier to distract yourself. This is where attraction turns into attachment, and attachment turns into trust. Trust doesn't come from grand gestures, it comes from emotional reliability. From being someone whose tone doesn't suddenly change when things get uncomfortable. From staying respectful, even when you disagree. When someone sees that their emotions don't scare you away, their brain registers you as safe territory. And safety is not the absence of passion. It is the foundation that allows passion to grow without fear. There's a deep psychological shift that happens when someone feels emotionally secure with you. They stop monitoring themselves, they stop editing every sentence, they stop worrying about being misunderstood. And when that happens, their natural personality comes out, their humor, their curiosity, their warmth. You're not attracting a mask anymore. You're connecting with the real person underneath it. And here's the part most people miss. When someone feels emotionally understood, they start investing mentally. They replay conversations. They remember how you reacted. They imagine future moments because the mind likes continuity. It looks for patterns that feel good and tries to repeat them. That's how attachment forms quietly, without pressure, without force. This is also why emotional absence creates distance faster than physical absence. You can be close in space and far in connection, or far in space and close in meaning. Meaning is what carries relationships through stress, conflict, and change. And meaning is built by emotional presence. By choosing to care about what someone feels, not just what they do. If you want to be different from the crowd, don't compete on looks or status. Compete on awareness, on patience, on emotional clarity. Be the person who doesn't rush past feelings. Be the person who doesn't turn vulnerability into weakness. Be the person who makes someone feel like their inner world matters. Because when someone feels understood, something powerful happens. Their nervous system calms, their mind opens, their guard lowers. And in that state, attraction doesn't feel risky. It feels natural. Desire doesn't feel rushed. It feels safe. And safety allows connection to deepen instead of disappearing. This is the one thing that creates lasting pull. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's rare. Most people are too busy talking to listen, too busy reacting to understand, too busy chasing validation to offer it. When you choose understanding, you choose depth, and depth always wins over noise. So the next time you're with someone, don't ask yourself how to impress them. Ask yourself how to understand them, not to control them, not to change them, but to truly see them. Because when someone feels seen, they don't just feel connected, they feel drawn. And now I want to ask you something personal. When was the last time someone made you feel truly understood? And how did that change the way you felt about them? Write your answer in the comments. If this message spoke to you, like the video, subscribe for more psychology and relationship truths, and share this with one person who needs to hear it today.